It is a world of darkness, and the warriors of Gaia fight over the fate of the world against their enemy, the cosmic force of entropy and corruption, the worm. Unbeknownst to mankind, they wage a war against the coming apocalypse, with new cubs taking up the cause to fight with fang, clave, and gun and claw. They give the worm no quarter. They give it only rage.
Now, because this is Werewolf, I'm going to offer a unique opportunity to the Galliard if they would like to recap last session.
Last session was the day beginning our Rite of Passage. We started out in the warehouse, of which we had been locked into for the better part of a week with meager rations, all being driven close to madness with spending all our time with each other, until finally Dzivia came, in which we didn't have to be stuck in that room for any longer, when I believe it was Mother Larissa and Timmy came along. And thus we were taken to Central Park to begin our rite of passage. Upon entering, attacked by the elders of the sept, and one of us was stupid enough to go and attack the fuckers.
It wasn't me.
Woo-hoo! Surprising. But luckily the rest of the pack came to that one person's defense, and off into the portal opened by the great white mouse spirit. And then we found ourselves in unfamiliar and away from home, met only by this Native American looking man claiming to be the warden of the cairn. We spent that night speaking amongst ourselves and eating at a cave that was prepared for us, awaiting the dawn of the next day when we would start our rite of passage. However, in the middle of the night we were woken up by a howl of and then taken to the sept, where we found a shocking truth that was told to us by the Wendigo elders. Supposedly our sept had killed the Wendigo pups that had been sent to them, and we were cast out of the cairn, never to return or otherwise be killed by the Wendigos. And thus we found ourselves out in the wilderness, alone. No idea where we were, or how to find our way back home, or even what we should do. That was when the lupus of our team, our pack, guided us in the ways of surviving like a wolf in the wild. We traveled during most of the night, coming across dangers we had not faced before, animals possessed by bane spirits. We saw guidance from the spirit of the trees, and later settled down, creating, for the first time, a temporary shelter from which we would escape the blizzard which tore into the night 6 hours after we had left the cairn. On the morning, after resting well, we went out into the blizzard in hopes of hunting and finding prey and food to bring back to the pack. We learnt how to hunt. We acquired a bountiful feast. And upon returning had discovered something strange, a moose that had been bled dry. And so while some of the pack stayed to feast, to cook, to eat, 2 others ventured out to try and figure out what had happened to the moose. And they had learned that vampires stalk night. And so after returning to the others and venturing out to find the road for which I imagine the pack might surely return to in hopes of finding their way home, but for now, they returned to the shelter, awaited nightfall, and now find themselves face to face with beasts, these predators, these vampires, leeches, that some of the pack didn't even know existed until a couple hours ago. And so now they find themselves before these creatures, these 5 men, or at least they look like men. They had previously been wolves, with their red glowing eyes, and the blizzard, and their fangs.
Now, everybody feel free to once again indulge in the beauty of this lovely track, because we are going to rewind a teensy bit before the arrival of the vampire, which the Galliard would sing of later. The leeches, the cadavers, call them what you want. Because when the lupus snarls at fleet,
This is an
and the
urgent message.
Galliard, who so faithfully accompanied the Theurge, Tara, returned. This moose was briefly discussed, and yet there is a difference of opinion happening predominantly between that of the Get, to a lesser degree Tara, who in her human mind understands maybe it would be nice to have rations to go. But Snarls feels differently. And as a pack, they must learn to resolve these issues or die together. The scene is yours.
So, we gonna smoke it or what?
Well, there's not really any point in eating it now. Best to save it for later when on the move.
Look, Snarls. Why are you opposed to us eating the moose?
Look, I'm not saying there's a problem with eating it necessarily to our health. But I think before we eat it, we should get the spirit of the moose to fully reconnect with its physical body, so that when we do eat it, we can show true respect and it can be at peace.
How are you meant to combine a spirit with its dead body? It's already left, right?
See, combine, not necessarily, but it's unsure what's happened to its body, and it's...
Well, then we can cook it up. Before we eat it, you can go and find it, and tell it we're eating it.
He wants to come in with the spirit before we cook it. This is what I'm getting. Am I wrong, Snarls?
Why? Cooking it's not eating it. The body's gonna be just as dead before and after.
Because the spirit might be more distressed if we cook it before we eat it. and before we commune with it.
Look, if you want to cook it, fine, just don't get ahead of yourselves. Don't eat it before we finally get the spirit to realize what's going on.
Snarls, we already found the spirit.
Yeah, and it's confused. It's been drunk from and left about. It doesn't know what's happened to its body.
But how would you find it again? It's
Remember, I grew up in the forest and track things down.
The forest isn't the Umbra. You won't really see it here, will you? I mean, it's not like it's here with us. Oh, spirit of the moose that died somewhere else. Where are you? Please show yourself.
Whether in the forests or in the Umbra, I can... That's my point.
What, like you found that Bane?
I mean, did any of you find it? Yeah, I found the Bane. What are you getting at?
You're so good at tracking, why'd you let it get away?
Dee's gonna step up forward. He's been watching this entire thing. He's gonna take a step forward and look to each of you. Fellas, listen, hey. It's been a long day. Let's just do it this way. You get to cook the moose. We don't eat it yet. And we give Snarls a chance to go find spirit. Right? Let's keep it. No, we're getting a little. We're counting straws here. You feel me? We cook the moose. He goes looking for the spirit. We go from there. Good compromise.
Like I said, we're smoking it, right? It's gonna take a while anyway.
Exactly.
I kind of agree with my friend here. Acquaintance?
the Philodox speaks sense.
As I said, I've got nothing against what he said.
Cool. Whose turn is it up fire? And Darren turns his back on Snarls. In his, Hispo form, but nonetheless. Dave, you cooking again, or you want to switch turns?
Well, I mean, I was thinking about heading out with you guys. Perhaps we could cook it overnight. I'm gonna be up tonight anyways.
Snarls would enter the Umbra.
Snarls, do roll a Gnosis roll, please. Snarls, you manage to slip sideways into the Umbra. Your mirror shades giving you a constant line to the spiritual world where colors pop. The greens of the grass, the white of the snow, the smells twice as intense, the earthen shelter of which you've built, even the very wood which creaks with little bits of dried dirt on them. Everything is magnified, yet enlarged. Outside, the trees would stand twice their height and 3 times as new. And the blizzard, just as fierce, even in the Umbra. Nevertheless, I'm assuming you're going to go look for moose.
Yes, I would also use my gift of heightened senses to help me.
Go ahead and roll a perception and survival. Meanwhile,
Out of character, what time is it? How
I was
close
going to say
until
it's after y'all have gotten back from the road, knowing that we got vampires.
Snarls shouldn't have gone along.
I look to Knight's character and say, he tends to run off without us, doesn't he? But that's probably due to him being solo for so long.
Aren't wolves used to running in packs?
That's what I'm saying.
Not all. I mean, some are lone wolves.
The lone wolf dies.
And he's
Yeah.
very much alive.
He did break his leg last time. you went into the Umbra.
That's why I think he shouldn't have.
Can anyone go with him? Hell, should we all go?
Out of character, any reflective stuff?
Well, you have a lot of very shiny piercing.
Yeah, but that wouldn't help me going to the Umbra.
Not unless someone feels like rolling for the pack.
I mean, you could look into my truth earring.
Alright, so... should we, like, gut the moose, set it to smoke, and then... step sideways? You know, we can leave it to smoke while we're off finding its spirit.
2 of us stay here, 2 of us will go.
I was just going to put it outside and let it stay cold while we were outside, while we were off doing other things. Do it during the night, but if you want to do it now, I can stay behind.
One of you two, Darren's pointing with his paw at Dee and Tara, and then to Tara. Stay here. You're the 2 with the jewelry, so in case another group needs to run after you, we can.
I'll go.
I'll go with you.
I look at his earring and try to...
So, you been around long?
What do you mean by that?
Like you've been doing this wolf thing a lot? Long?
Just as Dave and Dee begin speaking, Tara staring into Dee's earring, concentrating, but though feeling the connection with the spirit, is unable to pass over, unable to relinquish the tangible, as Darren places a hand on her shoulder, then both step sideways, now within the Umbra. A strange sight is now there is no fire, and the shelter seems larger than it was before. There's no Dee, no Dave. Nor is there really a door per se, just a piece of wood. Yet, looking outside, you recognize the world, though it's more densely populated by vegetation, and the storm seems to occupy the entirety of the sky and air before you.
Looking around, says to Darren, thanks. Man, I really haven't gotten used to all this yet.
Yeah, you're young. Anyway, let's track this mud. And Darren would attempt to shift into Lupus from his spot.
Tara's already in this book. Looking around, can she see Snarls or something that would indicate where he's gone?
Go ahead and perception and primal urge or survival, whichever one you have higher. Darren, stamina and primal urge. As Darren's body begins to twist and bend so he may take on the form of the lupus, Tara, you manage to catch the scent of Snarl. It helps that he smells like half of an eaten doe and all of you.
Plus, he's got animal musk.
It has a very distinctive smell, which you wouldn't find on any wolf or spirit here in the Umbra, especially because there's still a bit of that New York stank under his paws. Makes him stand out a little bit. Just follow the smell of sour milk.
She calls back.
Mixed with blood and fur.
Yeah, she calls back to Darren. I've got a scent. Follow me.
Darren nods and follows along, like right by her side.
I follow the scent to find the snarls.
Very briefly, we'll go back to Dave and Dee.
How you feel about Montana?
Fuck you. What do you mean about how I feel about Montana?
I'm just thinking. Nice large mountains, lots of trees, nice place for the pack to head once we're out of this situation.
Look, man, I ain't about Montana.
I'm not much either, but I don't exactly see snarls blending in with an urban environment.
No, I'm saying I don't fuck with Montana as a state. You feel?
Yeah, fair.
Just kind of
Would
buggy.
you? Yeah. Where would you like to have?
I'm down to go where the pack goes. Anywhere else that's not here. She's mad bad.
Yeah, it's fucking cold.
A word?
Yes. Freezing at night, freezing at day.
That was rhetorical, brother.
Meanwhile, Darren, Tara, as you search for snarls, following his scent, as you were, is there any conversation between the two of you with everything happening and going to happen still? Is there anything that's pressing on you to talk about?
You said that you saw black spirals and fiery, and was it any more detailed than?
See, I got the gist of that, but you're cutting up pretty regularly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just sometimes you cut up. I got the gist of what you said.
Okay.
I don't know. Let me think. They were all sacrificing us? Like some big blood ritual or something.
In a place that looked like wilderness?
No. I could try meditating on it later, but, not now. We got a wolf to find. Lone wolf, idiot. We getting close? Can we pick up the pace? I don't want to leave him out in this blizzard.
His scent's becoming stronger, but he's a much better tracker. Go figure.
I want to try finding the scent as well.
You catch his scent almost immediately. Having slept next to him kind of helped. If you had slept any closer to each other, you would have been taking his fur out of your mouth. You catch the very distinctive musk of a lupus. It's impossible to really miss the difference between him and Dave. Even after a week, Dave still smells like a human being and still has all the ticks and twitches of a human being, just like the rest of you. Soap, shampoo, wash your hands, this, that. Snarls! Yeah, that's an animal. With a hint of the city and a bit of blood on him. You'll catch up to him real quick. In fact, you begin to move ahead of Tara, leading her.
I just pick up the pace. I need to get to him.
Tara keeps pace with him.
Both of you find snarls just as you move through a large cluster of the tree. Each tree standing like a monolith, scaling upwards 50, 60 feet. They're tightly packed and yet grown thick. Some of them are as thick as the inflatable pools you used to swim in as a kid. Not the little ones for the tykes. The ones your dad would swim in.
Damn.
And as you see him through the trees, you can see he is speaking before the spirit of, in fact, a moose. Lotara, this one is different from the one you saw before. This one standing at some 16 feet in height. It has this strange reddish golden glow about it. It's not possessed. And there's a faint blueness which radiates from the eyes. The wolf before speaks calmly as the moose bows his head, as though appreciative of the respected show.
Out of character. Can I tell what this gold glow means?
Intelligence and occult.
May I also roll?
You don't have to.
May I?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. 0 in occult.
God damn it.
You suck. Well, Tara and Snarls, both of you know it means the same thing. It means that this spirit, which represents the meese of this area, these are a prominent animal to the ecosystem. They are a prominent animal of this region, and thus their spirit has a certain amount of weight and authority. In fact, you'd be terrified to see what the spirit of bear looks like in this area, or wolves for that matter. God forbid you find a bald eagle up here. The moose begins to trot off as Snarls has spoken with it, and the two of you approach.
Tara also kind of looks around attentively, considering that tree spirit said that there are veins about.
Darren just plods on, at almost a canter towards Snarls. Where the hell did you go?
Snarls adjusts his mirror shades, and you can't really see his eyes, and he's in lupus form, so it's hard to tell, but he kind of looks with you. Well, he looks at you with some sort of confusion, like, I said I was going.
Alone? What is wrong with you? You're part of a pack. Act like it.
He looks at you very still.
Snarls, you are getting an uncontrollable urge to bristle your fur and show your teeth. So far, every instinct you has tells you you're in charge of the pack.
Tara walks up to the two of them, looking at Snarls. She says, Darren's got a point. The last time we went into the Umbra alone, You remember what happened, and we don't want anything bad happen. Not now. And then she also turns to look at Darren and says, but you can't exactly be a hypocrite, because you were the one who, during the harrow, split from the pack. Both of you get over yourselves, and we need to get back to this shelter.
Darren fixing his gaze on Tara. Don't tell me what to do.
Darren.
Fiona.
Tara looks at him and snarls.
Snarls would kind of put a hand on Tara for a second, almost moving forward, saying, Darren, you can't just be yelling at everyone because you're aggressive and annoyed for some reason. Look, we have things to do, and we're getting them done. You can't waste our time and go against everyone because you're just angry for whatever reason. We've helped the pack. We've given the food to the pack. For God's sake, can we just be peaceful for once? He would start to walk past Darren, heading back to where he entered the Umbra.
You want
Tara
peace?
follows off the snarls.
Darren's gonna pounce on Snarls for turning his back on him.
As Darren lunges, he knocks Snarls into the snow, scuttling it along. His challenge made clear. Tara, you stand between the two as Darren and Snarls are now very clearly about to throw down the hatchet.
Tara focuses her attention on Darren, snarling, and if he makes a move towards Snarls, she will attack. But she just says to him, right now is not the time to be doing this. You saw what happened in your dream. Do you want to hasten that fate? Right now, we need to be at our full strength. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get back to the rest of the pack, then you two can have a face down. Because we are not safe where we are.
What's strength in the pack? I don't see any strength, and let's prove it to me.
This is not the time.
Snarls is... Wait, am I on the ground or am I on my feet at this point?
You easily could have gotten to your feet. You were shoved into the snow, but you didn't, go spiraling out of control.
Snarls is at his feet, growling as he says, you clearly forget that there's a danger coming for us. We're being hunted. We have more pressing matters to worry about than us getting into an argument, getting into a fight for no good reason.
The reason is I don't think you can fight, not as a pack. Prove it to me, now!
He looks at you, waiting for you to talk more.
Just glaring at you.
You'll get your chance to fight when we find whatever's hunting us. Save that anger, save that strength. Use it then. There's no point in wasting it now.
There is no
Because I'm telling you right now, if what you saw is true, if we're going to go up against Black Spirals and Femora, you need every strength you can, because those bastards are not going to be... They're not going to hold up.
All three of you roll your rage. Snarls, Tara, even though you are pissed and ready for a confrontation, considering the wisdom of maybe even having a face down now, both of you, Darren was gifted by Gaia with far too much rage. His form begins to grow even larger than that which it was, as he dons the horrid form of the Krynos and bellows. This is now a fight.
Can I shift into his mode?
Go ahead, roll stamina and primal urge. Meanwhile, Snarls, it is still your turn, and you can see Darren's eyes are very fixedly on you.
Can I rage into rhinos?
Yes, you can. Looking to each other, both Kara and Snarls depart from the Umbra, soon caught by the howling sound of the wind and the dimming glare of the sun on the snow.
Entering into the physical world, Snarls would peer into the Umbra so that he doesn't lose sight of Darren in case he runs off to attack someone else. Or something else.
And what is the berserker Darren doing?
Looking for targets.
It would seem that for the moment, Darren is isolated away, not having any reflective surface. You momentarily have gotten out of his line of sight.
Can you keep an eye on him? When he comes to his senses, we need to bring him back. Can't leave him out here. Stupid as he is.
Snarls would be peering into the Umbra to keep watch of him.
Both of you begin to roll stamina and athletics as you begin to move back towards, well, closer to the initial encampment. Well, Snarls, you see Darren tear off into the Umbra, searching for something to spend his rage on. And frankly, as fast as he moves, and as powerfully as he moves, almost smashing his way through the trees, would have been a nasty fight if nothing else. The two of you make slow progress back, even though you are in your non-mortal forms, your Hamid form, rather. It's a lot easier for Tara and her Hispo to move along the snow. Snarls in your heavy bipedal Krynos. You sink so much into the snow of the blizzard that you are dreadfully far behind and trying to keep up, forcing Tara either to wait or go ahead. But Lord knows if Darren were to come out of the Umbra, not being in Krynos carries its own danger.
Out of character, we are kind of, Snarls peering into the Umbra. I assume following Darren.
You see and follow as Darren thrashes his way through the brush of the Umbra, felling a small tree and diving between them as he smashes through the iced-over pond, tearing at the spirit of a fish. Within moments, it is annihilated and hanging. He keeps whirling, looking for further targets.